Good morning, everyone. My name is Karen Canales Pirriel, Procurement Official of the Procurement Division for the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery and Community Development Block Grant Mitigation Program. In this pre-proposal meeting, we are going to discuss the request for proposals number CDBG-DRMIT-RFP-2024-03 for Program Management Services for FEMA Match Programs. I would like to introduce the Puerto Rico Department of Housing personnel. Along with me is Héctor Martínez Rosado, Technical Specialist of the Procurement Division, Erika Caban Morales from the Federal Compliance Division, and Paulina Seguinot Figueroa from the Infrastructure Division. Any questions submitted in this meeting will be answered in writing and published in an addendum. Any information provided in this meeting does not change the terms and conditions established in the request for proposals instructions. The meeting will be recorded and available in our CDBG YouTube channel. All procurement processes shall be conducted in accordance with the terms and conditions established in the procurement manual for the CDBG-DR, CDBG-MIT, and CDBG state programs to guarantee full and open competition and fair treatment of all persons or entities involved in each procurement process. The procurement manual is available at recuperacion.pr.gov, incorporated by reference and made an integral part of this request for proposals. Now, we will have a presentation from the Infrastructure Division for an explanation of the scope of services.
Excellent. Thank you, Karen. Good morning, everyone. I just want to make sure that you can all hear me. I believe that it's the case.
We do.
So good morning, everyone. My name is Paulina Seguinot. I am the Director of Infrastructure at the PRDOH Disaster Recovery Office, managing the FEMA match programs here. And I'm going to do a brief overview of the scope of services included in this competitive process for program manager services. I assume that if you are in this meeting, it's because you or your company are interested in submitting a proposal for our consideration. And my intent in describing the scope of services is to tell you a little bit more about what we're looking for in a program manager and what elements are important that be reflected in your proposal. So with that said, the scope of services for the program manager RFP is centered on PRDOH's need to have a program manager that acts as an extended representative of PRDOH on behalf of PRDOH with 147 subrecipients, included municipalities, state agencies, NGOs or nonprofit organizations, and faith-based organizations. That is the pool of our subrecipients, or what you could also know as applicants. And what we do is that we provide the non-federal match portion of their FEMA projects, be it under the FEMA Public Assistance Program or the FEMA HMGP program. We provide that non-federal match to alleviate the financial burden on our applicant or the subrecipient. So our program manager has, as you can extensively see in the bid package, what we are looking for is for a company that has demonstrated knowledge and experience in understanding not only FEMA programs, public assistance and HMGP assistance, but also understands and has demonstrated experience in how to use CDBG-DRMIT and CDBG-DR funds to provide that non-federal match. So experience with similar programs, be it for other disasters or in other jurisdictions, is crucial to your proposal be successful in this competitive process. We also look for a company or a program manager that has a deep understanding and awareness of how to leverage federal funds in the context of Puerto Rico's recovery, disaster recovery, but also in Puerto Rico's road to resilience and mitigation. And we are looking for a program manager that has not only the operational financial capacity to support this big endeavor, but that also can provide that subject matter expertise in that hold a sort of a consulting relationship or provide consultancy to PRDOH in its management of FEMA match programs. We are looking for a program manager that can provide targeted outreach to our subrecipients and can work in collaboration with PRDOH to find solutions to very specific challenges that our subrecipients face and subrecipient and their projects face. We look obviously for a program manager that has experience and understanding of HUD CDBG block grant programs and funding and all of the compliance elements that implies, including procurement, compliance with NEPA or environmental regulation, compliance with 2 CFR 200 and or procurement federal regulation, and any other federal or state Puerto Rico specific regulation that is part of the successful execution of our programs. We look for a program manager that ultimately can help us push forward these projects that are in need of FEMA match funding within, obviously, the timeline of our grant with HUD, which for DR is, as you know, 2029, and for its CDBG-MIT is 2033. For those of you who have looked into the RFP package, we have this scope of services covers 3 FEMA match programs. As I mentioned, then what is called the non-federal match program, which provides the 10% match funding for Irma and Maria public assistance FEMA projects. We have the CDBG-MIT program that provides the 25% for HMGP projects. And we have the ER1 program, which is funded with a special allocation of CDBG-DR funds, uniquely allocated to covering the non-federal match for Puerto Rico's Electric Power Authority grid reconstruction activities. So as you can see, we have a very diversified portfolio of projects needing match, and we look forward to seeing your proposals and having a partner we can trust, collaborate, and ultimately find solutions to those challenges that we have already identified in executing the match with CDBG funds. I think it's important to note that the non-federal match program has been launched since 2019. The HMGP Global Match program has been launched since 2020. 2022, and the ER1 or Energy Grid Match Reconstruction Match Program has been launched since 2023. So ultimately, we also need a program manager that is able to smoothly transition into each one of these programs and respond to the particular stage of implementation that each one of these programs is at. So I hope I was able to provide a little bit more insight and a better provide you with a better understanding of what we are looking for in those proposals. Thank you.
Thank you, Paulina, for the information. Some of the important dates for this RFP are the following: submission of questions and requests for clarifications on or before March 25, 2024. Responses to questions and requests for clarifications, April 29, 2024. Proposals due date from April 24, 2024 at 9 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time up to on or before April 26, 2024 at 4 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. The RFP documents are available for download at the CDBG-DR website as presented on screen. Now we will continue with Hector Martinez for the rest of the information of the presentation.
Good morning to everyone. Now go to the next item on the agenda. It will be the submission of inquiries and addenda. Responses to all proposers' questions will be answered by addenda and will be posted on the CDBG-DR website. All documents related to this acquisition process, including the addenda issued by the Puerto Rico Department of Housing, are and will be available for download at the CDBG-DR website. All proposals are responsible to monitor the CDBG-DR website for any issue addenda in this RFP. Now let's go to the next item of the agenda. It will be proposal electronic submission. All the proposals will only be accepted electronically. Proposals submitted after the prescribed deadline will not be allowed. The Department of Housing will neither require nor accept physical proposal submissions. If a proposal is submitted on paper and electronically, only the electronic submission will be considered for evaluation. Proposals will receive access to submit proposals after completing the registration process to the CDBG-DR website. Once the scheduled submission period begins, a link will enable access to the registration form. Please complete all required fields in the form. Proposal must be submitted within the closing date and time schedule. Access to upload the proposals will begin 3 business days before the closing schedule date time. Now to the next item on the agenda will be evaluation criteria. The evaluation committee will evaluate responsive proposals according to the following criteria listed in order of importance. Will be critical, qualifications and experience of the proposer to successfully perform the service required in this RFP, as evidenced by the successful implementation of relevant service of similar scope and complexity, preferably in large, complex public organizations like state government and federal entities. Quality of the proposed approach and its relevance to the services described in this RFP, including implementation schedule and understanding of the PRDOH goals. Professional qualifications and specialized experience of the proposed key personnel as evidenced by relevant experience to the role proposed. The next will be important. It will be capacity of the key personnel and the ability to commit adequate time to effectively perform the service in the role as assigned with the required time frame. The next item will be pass or fail. Financial stability of the proposer and its capacity to effectively perform the services. The next item will be preference, the level, quality, and relevancy of participation by Section 3 business concern and MBE and WBE registered Puerto Rico business. The next item will be price proposal, reasonableness of overall price, allocation of effort, and overall value offer. Now let's go to the next item on the agenda. It will be the SEM registration. Proposers and first-tier subcontractor must be registered in the System for Award Management, also known as SAM, at the time of the proposal submission or initiate the registration process right after the proposal submission. For more information, please visit the SAM website. There is no fee to create, renew, or update your registration. Awards will only be issued to entities that are clear and not eligible for award of a contract due to suspension, debarment, or HUD imposed limited denial of participation. Now, we will leave you with Erica Caban Morales from the Federal Compliance Division to explain the federal compliance requirements. Good morning.
Greetings. On behalf of the PRDOH Federal Compliance Team, welcome to your compliance overview. This presentation is prepared in English. However, should anyone need this presentation in Spanish, you may request it using the protocols for this RFP. The agenda. Today we will discuss a brief overview of Section 3 and how to qualify as a business. 2, compliance with MBE and WBE, then reporting compliance, and finally, a brief overview on HEO compliance. The procurement package contains language that offers contractors the ability to seek a preference. Please remember to use the references and templates that are made available and that we will be discussing in this presentation. Proposer seeking Section 3 bonus points should provide their self-certifications and sufficient evidence for how they qualify as a Section 3 business. The Department of Housing offers a template on their website. Proposers who are seeking MBE or WBE bonus points should provide a copy for the MWBE certification to provide evidence of the status. The certificates provided should show the dates and indicate that they are currently active. The procurement package contains sections that speak to the applicability and the requirements for MWBE. Within those sections, you will find helpful links to online resources that are made available, such as the policy guide. Let's talk about Section 3. The Department of Housing makes available a Section 3 policy guide on their website, both in English and in Spanish. Contractors must read and implement activities as applicable and necessary. They also are responsible for their subcontractors assuring that benchmarks are met. Let's talk about the definition of the Section 3 business. A Section 3 business refers to a business concern meeting at least one of the following criteria, which is documented with the last 6 months. The business is at least 51% owned and controlled by low or very low income persons. It could also be a business that has at least 51% ownership and controlled by a public housing resident or residents who currently live in Section 8 assisted housing. It could also be a business that has over 75% of the labor hours performed for that business over the prior 3-month period by Section 3 workers. The Section 3 self-certification forms help you uncover workers and business can meet the income thresholds required. HUD also offers a 4736A and C form for Section 3 worker validation. We will now turn our attention to minority and women-owned business compliance. There are various regulations that call for the inclusion of minorities and women business enterprises. 2 CFR 200.321, as well as the executive orders 11625, 12138, and 12432 establish the participation of MWE firms, which seek to ensure that, when possible, contracts and other economic opportunities funded in whole or in part with federal housing and community development assistance are directed to minority business enterprises and women business enterprises. The Department of Housing has established an MWE policy guide. This is available on the website in both English and Spanish. You can access those documents using the link on the slide. Let's look at what a minority business enterprise is. An MBE is defined as a business which is at least 51% owned, operated, and controlled on a daily basis by one or more American citizens of the following ethnic minority and/or gender and/or military veteran classifications: African American, Asian American, Hispanic American, Native American, Hasidic Jew, persons with disabilities, and other individuals who can prove social and economic disadvantage. Women business enterprises, or WBEs, are businesses that are at least 51% owned and controlled by one or more women. The owners must be U.S. citizens or legal resident aliens whose business information and principal place of business are here in the U.S. or its territories, and whose management and daily operation is controlled by women. The MWE policy guide will identify that there are goals which apply to professional services, purchasing, supplies, and construction contracting. There's a total of 20% minimum participation goal, which is comprised of 10% of women-owned businesses and 10% for minority-owned businesses. Contractors are expected to perform good faith efforts for contracting, subcontracting, and purchasing opportunities of $10,000 or more during the life of the contract. Let's look at the MWE utilization plan. This tool helps you compile data for your subcontracting. It helps you identify what needs you may have. It helps hold discussion on creating supplier and contractor listings and provides awareness of meeting the goal for the contract and tracking. You can use the link on the slide to go to the website and download the plan template. Let's review how you should complete your MWE utilization plan. The Department of Housing Utilization Plan template can be used throughout the life cycle of your contract. Completing the plan is pretty easy. You should read the general instructions in row 3 and complete sections A, B, and F from the document. Complete the information requested in the yellow cells. When we talk about certified minority or women-owned business, we are referring to those who have filed applications with federal entities such as SBA and others that you see here on this slide. Business who are certified can provide proof of completing an application process to be officially recognized as a certified minority or women-owned business. If you're registered as an MWBE, you should provide your valid certificate or other evidence in response to this RFP. In this section, we will be discussing how to complete your efforts in quarterly reporting. In order for you to report your efforts, the Department of Housing provides a tool. This tool helps you document and identify how often you are seeking interactions with Section 3 businesses and MWE businesses. The quarterly reporting form allows you to share and report your data with the Department of Housing. This allows the agency to fulfill oversight responsibilities and monitor the progress throughout the year. The Department of Housing quarterly reporting form allows for the user to capture multiple compliance areas all in one Excel form. Section 3 data is collected. NWB data is collected as well. FHEO information is also documented within the report. And finally, for those who have construction projects, there's a report for Davis-Bacon unfound workers efforts reporting. Awarded contractors will be responsible for reporting 4 times a year on April 5th, July 5th, October 5th, and January 5th. This ensures that you are meeting benchmarks and documenting your efforts. The quarterly reporting template is also available on the Department of Housing website. Let's briefly discuss FHEO. Your RFP package will also contain a model contract with outlines fair housing and equal opportunity areas of compliance. Contractors are responsible for ensuring compliance with federal civil rights and fair housing throughout their contractors, subcontractors, and so forth, ensuring that all necessary efforts are being made. The Fair Housing Act and Sections 109 and 504 prohibit discrimination against the following protected classes of people: race, age, familial status, disability, gender identity, sexual orientation, color, national origin, religion, and sex. The Fair Housing Act is part of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. There are many executive orders, laws, and statutes that govern the non-discrimination of protected classes to ensure equal opportunity for individuals in accessing federal funded programs. Equal opportunity is afforded to protect classes throughout a number of these federal laws and executive orders. PRDOH has published the Language Access Policy and made it available in English and Spanish. Thank you for attending today's proposal virtual conference. We hope you found the material helpful. Please remember to direct all your questions through the established protocols for this procurement. Thank you to the procurement team for allowing us to present this material. I will stop sharing this presentation so we can continue with the session.
We thank you all for your participation today. Remember that any questions submitted in this meeting will be answered in writing and published in an addendum. Have a nice day.